you hear everything the media says about Brock Purdy, and then you hear how everyone constantly underrates him. You hear the talk of him being Mr. Irrelevant. You can't help but think that creeped into their minds a little bit here, where you're not expecting it from Brock Purdy, and you're not expecting him to pull off a Tom Brady-esque performance where you can point to Dak Prescott, you can point to um, Tua, and you can point to like Justin Herbert and these guys who have these epic meltdowns. And Brock Purdy was switching the narrative where he's like, out of all of these quote unquote game managers, as Cam Newton calls it, like, I game managed my team back from a 17-point deficit. My coach was 0-30 when trailing by 4 points entering the fourth quarter, and I was able to flip around that whole narrative for him. This is the head coach that also was the offensive coordinator when the Falcons lost 28-3, and that was really the difference in this game. Do they come back with Jimmy Garoppolo in this game? Probably not. Do they come back if Matt Ryan is the quarterback? Probably not, because they wouldn't have the courage of their conviction to step out there and then lead their team back, get everyone pumped up. But like, Brock Purdy has also given this team the ability to have players like Trey Greenlaw, Nick Bosa, and then sign Christian McCaffrey to massive money, pay George Kittle, have the highest paid tackle in football, have Brandon Ayuk, have Jawan Jennings. So it's like, all of that, it's like, okay, now you're looking at a guy who was overlooked and was told he was going to be the reason why the San Francisco 49ers didn't make it to a Super Bowl or didn't achieve to the heights where their expectations are this year. He's repeatedly called the weak link on this team, even though they're being roasted without Justin Jefferson by the Vikings. They couldn't do anything to stop the Cleveland Browns in Cleveland, and they couldn't do anything to stop the Detroit Lions in the first half. Yet Brock Purdy is always shamed as the weak link on this team when he was the one who, hey, he's the quarterback. He's the leader on this team. And guess what? Every quarterback ever besides Tom Brady who has won a Super Bowl has probably had some of the best weapons in the league.
Yeah, historically. And I think that with Brock Purdy, the narrative around him has been so heinous, especially with the media always talking about Mr. Irrelevant, always talking about all this talent that's around him. But I think what they forget about is his leadership. And that was one of the things that I feel like Jimmy Garoppolo maybe didn't quite have the same amount of, where Jimmy Garoppolo was that pure game manager player. And I never felt like he was like the guy that was orchestrating the offense quite to that same level that Brock Purdy does. I think Brock Purdy puts a level of confidence in people like George Kittle, in people like Jawan Jennings, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel, because of his underdog mentality, the chip that he has on his shoulder. Jimmy Garoppolo was a third round pick, which by no means is a first round pick, but still not quite the same chip on his shoulder. Brock Purdy, undersized, not looked at in the draft, wasn't a 4-year starter. So I think having that chip on his shoulder, being that leader for him, saying, no, guys, we're down 24-7, but we got 30 minutes of football left. We can still definitely get this happening. This defense has been susceptible in the past. We do have the highest powered offense in the league. We can definitely do this. And I think that a lot of credit should go to Brock Purdy here.